परम श्रद्धेय स्वामी जी, सभी अन्य स्वामी जी जो यहाँ बैठे हैं, एंड dignitaries present here for this occasion. I have been asked to speak about social harmony as a catalyst of national development in English, which is not the language of my practice. But I know you will gloss over my mistakes in English, because barring a few dignitaries present here, everybody is equally practicing English like myself. But there is another difficulty. The English language is inadequate to fully express the content of many Bharatiya concepts, purely and exclusively Bharatiya concepts. And today's subject relates to such concepts. So I will have to start my lecture by explaining some English words well known to you, but I have to explain in what sense I am using those words. Because there is no other way. During translation, the nearest words are applied for those concepts. Nearest English words are applied for those concepts. They cannot fully express. So I have to explain. So first word is social, related to society. It is translation of our word samaj. In Kannada we say samudaya. Now, concept of society in the West and concept of Samaj in Bharat are two different things. They appear the same, but they are different. Congregation of people which live together and help each other so that both benefit, everybody benefits. So, if you are beneficial to me, I will live with you. If you are not, I will not. The theory of social contract, society exists because man cannot live alone. He has to take so many helpers along with him. So, those who can help are to be taken with one. Those who cannot are to be forgotten. And those who do not help or come in between you are achieving something, you have to deal with them harshly. That ensures. This contract is not there in our society. When we say Samaj, it is not just a congregation or it is not a lineage. It is not Samaja, it is Samaj. Samaj denotes the people who live together for a long period and therefore they develop the affinity towards each other. The feeling of oneness comes automatically through their association with the surroundings in which they live. And they have a common purpose for which they live. Each of us have our own purpose. I have to live. I am a person. I have to live my life. Live it with happiness and peace. But I also have to live with my family. I have to make my family also happy. So this purpose extends and we all live for something. Swami Vivekananda said, every nation has a message to deliver. Every nation has a mission to accomplish. Every nation has a destiny to fulfill. What is that nation? Universally it is accepted. Nation is the land, the people, their state, with all its paraphernalia. Chanakya also said, Janapadavati Bhumi plus Rajya, Bala, Durga, Kosha, Amatya and Surya. We need not go into meaning of each word, but land, people and state. In West, state is the prominent factor, main factor, the causal factor of nation. But in our country, causal factor is not the state, it is the Janapadavati Bhumi. We had our state. There were Chakravarti Samrats who ruled all over Bharat. We had our states also. In Vedas we say, Om Swasti, Samrajyam, Bhaujyam, Swarajyam, Vairajyam, Parameshtam, Rajyam, Maharajyam, Adhipatya, Samanta Paryayi, Sarvabhauma, Sarvayusha. These are all the methods of governance. In Bharat, there were many states differently governed by all these methods each. But still we say, Anta Adha Parardhat Prithivyayi Samudra Paryantaya Ekarat. The land up to seas, which was made arable by Prithu Raja, therefore called Prithivi. That is one nation. We didn't say the state makes us one nation. We said the land makes up one nation. Our land, which was well protected and provided everything for those who live in that land, gave us peace, gave us prosperity, gave us an environment wherein we did not require to fight among ourselves or fight with others. Because in those days, our borders were impenetrable. Tall mountains on all sides and deep seas on all sides. So nobody came from outside. So we didn't have to quarrel with our neighbors. And inside there was plenty for everybody. So in spite of our languages, in spite of our provinces, in spite of our different manners of conducting our life, we were there peacefully existing for a number of years. This peace and prosperity was provided by our land. Therefore, Bhumi is the one factor. Land for us is not a means of living. Land for us is Matru Bhumi. It not only raised us, it also provided us a particular nature of Bharat, for which Bharat is known as Bharat. We pursued knowledge because we were very well settled and therefore we had time. We pursued that knowledge. World stopped searching after outside search was complete. But we started searching inside after. And therefore we got that knowledge. And therefore this land is one factor which has made us what we are today. And secondly, what we got through that knowledge. That is the truth of oneness of existence. You say everything is one. All are one. No, all is one. Everything is one. And that oneness is there. So, if you attain that stage wherein you can feel for 24 hours that oneness, then you are completely happy. Nothing can decrease your happiness. Imperishable happiness. Eternal happiness you get. Then you don't require anything. That is our aim of life. But this also creates a second class. If everything is one, then everybody is mine. So if I am going to become happy by attaining that stage, I have to tell the world how to attain that stage, because they are my own brothers. Everything. Chara achara srushti. Chara achara srushti. Living, non-living, everything is one. So I belong to them. I do not own them. All these different forms, we belong to one thing. We are part and parcel. We are brothers. Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, etc. So they are all mine. So I have to lead my life so that my life sustains everybody else's life. Struggle for existence and survival of the fittest is the Western concept of life. Ours is cooperation and coordination for existence. And those who are fit will help others survive. That is our outlook. That is the common outlook of Bharatiya society even today, in spite of their ignorance about their own roots. Even illiterate people, even poor people, they lead their life like this. If you don't have exact change to pay your fare for a rickshaw, and for another lacking, and you ask rickshawala, you come tomorrow, I will pay you. He will say, no, let go. चार आना तो मुर्गी भी नहीं खाती, पैसा तो मुर्गी भी नहीं खाती. Even birds do not eat money. This you will never hear in West. This is our concept. So our society has a common purpose to lead the life for attainment of that stage, and lead the life with paropakara and seva. People, those who do this, they are Samaj. There is no contract. It is our duty. If you benefit me or if you don't benefit me, you are one of mine. So whatever I do should benefit you. This is the difference. We are Samaj, not a mere society. Secondly, nation. That nation, again, it is not a state. The nation for us is the apparatus created by our Purvajas to deliver this knowledge from time to time to the world. When we experience that all are one and decided that this should be imparted, this knowledge should be imparted to everybody in the world, then naturally it came, it ensured that we should have the apparatus. That apparatus was created by the ancestors. They strived for it, strived very hard, strived for a long time, and created our nation. No state created our nation. Bhadramichhanta rushaya swarvidaha tapo diksham upase duragre tato rashtram balam ojascha jatam. The saints, rishis, munis, who were wishing welfare of whole world, they undertook diksha and performed a very hard tapas, through which our Rashtra, Bala and Oj was created. So our society is a society which recognizes inner oneness. Our nation is a nation which, on the basis of the efforts of this society and this land, will impart this knowledge to whole world of oneness of human being, oneness of existence. This basic clarity is very necessary to understand this topic. Because on one side, when we say development, it is not merely a material development. Because that knowledge knowledge of the one principle gives us a total and integral view of existence. Human beings are not only body, not only mind, not only intellect, not only these three. There is fourth principle of Atman, which connects all these three. Atmanam ratinam vidhi shariram ratham evat buddhim cha sarathim vidyam manam pragraham evat. The master is Atma, in whose light all the three, they get connected and they prosper together, they progress together. In the same way, individual, society and the creation, these three apparently separate entities are connected by Paramatma. And all human endeavors, which we call Artha and Kama, to fulfill the desires, to meet the ends, we strive. That is Artha Purushartha and Kama Purushartha. But this, they must go together under the discipline of Dharma Purushartha to attain the moksha. So, Dharma is the connecting principle for these three: moksha, Artha and Kama. If this doesn't happen, then Artha Kama go berserk and then families break. People became criminals. Even school-going children being drunks with them and fire on their own colleagues in class. This is happening. All these perils world is seeing. In the absence of dharma, what happened? And this dharma means it upholds everything. Dharanat dharma itya. It makes everything go together towards progress. All-round development of everybody and all. So, this dharma principle is the cause of harmony. And the truth that everything is one, that realization is the cause of dharma. When we say harmony, the result is there. In music, the word is used often, harmony. So different notes, Saregama Padanisa, they come together and create a beautiful, bliss-creating experience of music. But that is the apparent thing, apparent form of harmony. How come they come together and create happiness? There is some inner oneness. That is the real fountainhead of harmony. Maximum good of the maximum people, West says. Welfare, all these concepts, they say that you have to live happily, so you have to create an environment with others wherein majority of them you have to go along with so that you be happy. There will be a few unlucky persons who will not be happy. This is contract. I cannot do anything about those who are left behind. But our tradition says no, sarvepi sukhna sarve santu nira. And how to bring about this? Because our needs are different. So we have to give something to do this. Give our own hours. We have to restrict ourselves. We have to have sanyama. I will earn only that much which is enough for myself. I will earn rest also, but that I will distribute. Yavat bhriyet jataram tavat sattvam hi dehina. Yo adhikam manye tasteno dandamar. So, I have that compassion. Compassion is not daya. Compassion is karuna. Karuna and daya are different. Daya implies that I am doing something good for you. whether you deserve it or not. It is my large hearted that I am doing this. Compassion says no. Because you are one, there is one feeling, and we can experience that. Even without doing any tapas, you can try. When you are taking your lunch, if a hungry beggar comes before you, what will you do? You will give him something and drive him out. Or just drive him out without giving him something. Or you will just shut your door. Or just turn yourself around. But you never can take your own food when a hungry man is standing begging before you. Do this experiment. You will find it. Why? That is Atman. That is Paramatma. That is the truth which gives rise to dharma. There is a very good episode in our Puranas. There is story of Shibirana. Must have heard that. A doe comes flying to Shibiraja and asks for shelter. And Shibiraja hides him in his robe. A hawk comes. And he asks Shibiraja, there was a doe coming here. I think probably he has taken shelter with. It is my food. I have to eat. Release. Shibi says no. He is my subject. I have given him protection. I will protect. I will not let you eat. That is my dharma. I am the king. I have to protect my subject. Then hawk says, I am also your subject. And you say your dharma is protection. The nature has given me dharma of eating meat. Unless I eat dough, I cannot live. And to live happily, live 100 years with all karmas. Kurvanne veha karmani jiji vishechamas. That is my dharma. So by hampering my dharma, how you are going to achieve your own dharma? Dharma is not like that. Dharma is happiness everywhere, all round, anytime, every time. For all. Dharma cannot create grief one side and happiness other. There is no. Now what is the answer in Western philosophy? We have to bring justice. What is the way we can bring justice? There are only three alternatives. Let the hawk die of starvation. Second, let the doe die. Let hawk eat it. Or say that these matters are not for this court. Go out and decide somewhere else. There is no other alternative. But in our tradition, Shibiraja says, okay, you are right. Your dharma is eating meat. But your dharma is not eating doe meat. Any meat will do. So I will cut my own meat and feed you. Leave the doe. So that dharma of dove is protected, dharma of the king is protected, dharma of the hawk is protected. Shibiraja gives his own. That is tyag. This sanyam and tyag arising out of compassion is the basis of harmony everywhere. Just as the frequencies are the real cause of harmony, matching of frequency. How to learn this? If there is some agitation amongst ourselves, some quarrel amongst today, what is the cause? In most of the cases, we find cause is a fight for petty interests. I want this. Because economics says ends are, desires are ends, desires, means are limited, ends are endless. So limited means cannot satisfy everybody's end. And that problem is going to last. Because that is the condition of birth. So how can we live together? We have to quarrel. Therefore struggle for existence. West believes in that. We do not. We say no, okay, if means are limited, we will ration ourselves. We will take only that much so that everybody can take it. Everybody can have it. This is our legacy which we have forgotten for last 2000 years. And that is why in our society, all the diverse expressions of our unity have become our bane. They make us quarrel amongst ourselves. Because we forget with whom we are quarreling and for what. We can share. We have to share because we belong to each other. We belong to this universe. In universe also there is no need to quarrel. The wars are going on. They are in news, you know. I don't need to give you information in how these wars are happening. They refuse to share, they want everything in my hand. And because they don't know this oneness, they are suspicious of everybody. These suspicions, this petty interest and fight for that, they arise when we don't realize this oneness. When we forget this. So real development, by creating material prosperity, creating abundance, and justified distribution, and by limiting the consumerism, they create disease. That creates harm. And state will do this, but state cannot act alone. If society obeys the state, state can go on. If society doesn't, state cannot work. Particularly on our democracy, we are makers of everything. So society in general must have the spirit of oneness. We must remember this. It is nothing manufactured by us. It exists. It eternally exists. It is there. And therefore, we have to recognize it. Then only we can achieve happiness. But we forgot this. And then there was untouchability. And then upar niche, discrimination. Our own brothers, we kept them in darkness for so many years. So we have to realize this oneness. And we have to behave in that way. We can feel it. Once we start thinking, we can feel it. It is already there. Without thinking also, we do so many acts of compassion. So many. If from a distance you are looking at the street and some cycle wala collides with a scooter wala and both fall down, for a moment you say like this. Remember, why you are doing that? You are 100 feet away from that spot. They are unknown persons, both. But why you feel like this? This feeling is there. It is the truth. That truth is there because existence is one. So nobody is superior, inferior. We belong to each other. All are equal. Capacities are different. Environments are different. Requirements are different. But no matter, we can share and we can live happily together. By cooperation, coordination, not for a selfish, petty interest, but for the truth that we are one. Everything is one. That is the way to harmony in the society, in the samaj. We have to act like this. Now, this is a theory, so many words, all true, all experienced by our ancestors. They are eternal truth, holding true everywhere. But still, what are we going to do about it? That is important. We have to start acting, start doing it. First, we have to dispel all the differences away from our mind, because all these differences, these notions of inequality, yours and mine, it is in the mind. Even if you outwardly you are acting in a right way, if you see a person, there was a funny incident. I was in Bihar at that time. So I went to meet a worker, our principal, in a college. He was laboratory assistant. And exams were going on, therefore he was engaged. So he asked me to sit in principal's room and wait for him some time. He also informed the principal that I was Kshetra Pracharak at that time. Our Kshetra Pracharak is, I asked him to sit in your room. Principal said, oh. After some time, Mr. Principal, he came into his room. We had namaskars. Then he asked me my name. Our worker already told him, Mohan Rao Bhagwat. In Marathi, Mohan Rao. Rao is not a surname. It is Mohan Ji or Theory. We take that. That way a respectful attitude. He asked me, you are Mohan Rao. That means Narsingh Rao, like that. Narsingh Rao ji was Prime Minister at that time. I said, no, it is just. He said, so who are you? I said, I am Mohan Bhagwat. No, who are you? I said, I am Kshetra Pracharak. I understand that, I am told that, but who are you? I said, I am Pracharak of Sangha, Rashtriya Sangha. Who are you? I said, by education I am a veterinary doctor. I am asking you, who are you? You know what I am asking. Why are you not answering? I asked him, why you require this knowledge? Who am I? I am going to sit here for 5 minutes. When I meet my Swayamsevak, I will go out. I don't know whether I will meet you again or not. In those 5 minutes, why do you want to know who am I? My name is sufficient. I am a Pracharak of Sangha, Kshetra Pracharak. All this information is sufficient. That is the thing. It is in the mind. So, we have to clean our mind. Tathagat says how a life should be lived. He says, Sabba papassa akarana. Don't do any sinful thing. So no theft, no this, no that. You know. No improper behavior. Then, kusalassa upasampada. Earn for yourself without harming others. Yoga karma su kaushalam, we say. That kaushalam is this. With your karma, you should not harm anybody. Then, satchitta pariyodapanam. That is the chitta shuddha. The endeavor of bringing dharma into one's life is summarized in these three. Everywhere. Proper behavior, without a sinful behavior, you have to live your life without harming others, and you have to clean your mind. Clean your mind of all vikars, etc., etc. And you have to see everybody as your own. So we have to start this, thinking like this. Then, to do this, only by thought, we can go that much forward. We have to really clean our mind. We have to experience. For that we have to visit. Start visiting each other, each other's family, each other's house. There are so many diversities in our society of language, castes, creeds. You should make everybody your friend. You should have your friends. Your family should have a family friend or friend family in each of these sections. That we can do. In our normal living of life, we can go around in our area. We can make friends with everybody. We can go visiting them, they come visit, we can invite them. Visit and invite them. In Sangha, we ask the society in each village or in each basti of city that different type of our society, they have their leaders. The leaders should sit together and they should think of three things. First is what we are doing for the betterment of our own caste or something, whichever type you represent. What we do for their betterment. Second is, in what way we together are striving for the development of our area, betterment of our area. And third is, we together should do something for those amongst us who are weak. Unfortunately, there is a history of social discrimination in our country. And due to that, there are some backwards and there are some forwards together, what they can do for those who are back. This should be thought regularly, thought about, and something must be done now for that. Together we can do many small things. This type of behavior, we are one, we have to live together, we will take care of everybody else along with our own area. This will create that sadbhavana. That compassion will come into action. And then third thing is, after realizing this, we as a nation have done something for this. In independent Bharat, the Samvidhan, Constitution was given. That Constitution has taken care to wipe out this discrimination, the inequality. But remarkably, when this Constitution was given to our people, Bharat's Parliament, Constituent Assembly at that time, Dr. Ambedkar delivered 2 speeches. Everyone must read, must regularly keep reading those speeches. They are the guidelines for the Bharatiya people to behave in a way they can restore the glory of Bharat. In that he says that the Constitution has taken care to bring political and economic equality. But this cannot be brought about unless there is social equality. The principle of liberty, equality and fraternity, I have not taken it from the French Revolution. I have found those principles in our tradition, in the thought of Tathagat Buddha. The world knows that if you try to bring equality, there is no liberty. You have to restrict. And if you want liberty, you cannot rely on equality. If you want both together, you have to have this fraternity, Bandhu Bhav. And then further he says that Bandhu Bhav is dharma. He also cites the example of history. He says no aggressor conquered Bharat due to his own valor. Because of our differences, petty differences of all these things, we handed over on a silver platter our country to them. That has been our history. Now after so many 1,000 years, he says, after 1,000 years we have reacquired our independence. I am afraid that if you continue to quarrel like this, our freedom cannot be protected. So sitting here as the opponents, followers of different ideologies, we are sitting here in different camps, but we have to take care that in society, that bandhubhav happens, that fraternity is inculcated. Our constitution also in its guidelines says that we should try to bring about emotional integration. What is that emotion? That emotion is everything together that tells us that we are one. So, we have to try and support all the proactive measures that have been taken by our constitution to bring about this social equality. It is not a question of who gets what. It is a question of wiping out this very dastardly blot that has been put upon ourselves by ourselves. We have to wipe it out earliest. Unless that is done, how can there be development? Because development is not something individual. There were rich persons in Bharat. There have been always. But we say now Bharat has economically progressed. Why now? Before 2014 also there were rich persons. All Tata, Birlas, Ambanis, Adanis were there. Even before that, even in the days of pre-independence days of British, there were rich persons. But we are not prosperous. Why? Because when we say we are all together like a body. I am healthy. But one side of my body is paralyzed. That has no meaning. You are not healthy. If something in your body is paralyzed, you are not healthy. You have to make each and every cell of your body healthy. Then only you can claim a health. So when we say development, it must be unto the last man. Nobody should be left out. Maximum good of a maximum people is not for us. Sarvepi sukhinas santu is our pride. And to bring about that, if I have to sacrifice something, I should be ready. This type of attitude should be cultivated in minds and it should be carried forward to next generation also. And we should make small repairs in our behavior. A new Karyakarta came to one of our Karyakarta. Someone told him that these people are using you, they will throw you away after you are not. So he was very agitated, and in a summer afternoon, in those area it is 45, 46 like that, he went that Karyakarta. He had just come out from the college and after meals he was taking a nap. So he woke up and took him in and asked him, how come you have come? So I will tell you, but first I am thirsty. I want a glass of water. Now our Karyakarta says, okay, go into kitchen. Take the drinking water is there, you take your fill, bring a glass for me. And then after all this was over, he asked, so now tell you, what is your? He said, no, I got the answer. Instead of speaking, lecturing, or giving upadesh, we have to start from small things. Our languages contain so many words which express this discrimination. And it has come in the colloquial flow. Nobody has any intention. But now Because they hurt the feeling, we have to leave that. We have to make our speech pure. The speech quality is, in Marathi there is one thing. How a speech should be. Sach ani rasa. True and attractive. Mitale ani mawal. Measured and soft. Shabda जैसे कल्लोळ अमृताचे. Words like कल्लोळ of Amrita. Not to that degree, but to some degree we can have this. Our speech, our behavior, our small acts should not hurt others, should not make them feel that I am something distant, I am something different. He doesn't see me as his equal or his own. Should not be there. Many things are there for him. If we start doing these small things, these four measures, cleaning our mind, shedding all the past grievances, etc., etc., making us love everybody because they are ours. Then go visiting and invite visitors, making friends, supporting all the proactive measures, and starting from small things. This sadbhavana can be created, the harmony comes after that. And then all this behavior should be reflected in our policies also. And fortunately, that has been taken care of by the provisions of our Constitution. When that happens, our society will be one society which all of its organs prospering. And then that will be the real development. But only material concern for development will not bring this about. We have to inculcate these values. And all those values spring, you know better than me about those values. But those values spring from one truth. Everything is one. The differences are of words only. We call them different, call it different. Ekam sat, vipraha bahudha. Everything is. With this we have to start and develop on this. That will bring about the harmony of our samaj, harmony of our rashtra. And that will also show the world a much required way to a new world which is happy and peaceful. I think this is also a God-given duty for our Bharatiya people. So if we have not started doing this, it is high time we should start doing this. This is our sacred duty. It will fulfill our life, our family life, our social life also. So, I think social harmony as a catalyst, not only catalyst, it is the condition precedent for the all-round development of. If we look to this topic in this manner, I think, and start acting, I think within coming decades, we can completely do away with all the discrimination in our society. Our country will be prosperous. Also, it will be proven to be a guideline for the faltering world. By correcting all the mistakes world does, it will bring about a new, peaceful and blissful world. Now let me express my best wishes for you that by doing this, you see this to be a reality in your own life, in this body, in this life, you will be able to see this kind of world. But for that, we have to start today. Thank you very much for patiently listening me.
Very inspirational. Thank you very much, sir, for your very inspirational talk. Now it's time for question and answers. We have already received quite a number of questions, sir.
Huh? You have to be. You select and talk. There are many questions and time limit too.
The first question is Gopal Singh, professor at Jesus Women's College. His question is, can we have oneness among all religions and community?
Community.
Community, religions.
We have to have. It is not a question of can we. Because all religions try to take us to truth. So, ruchinam vaichitryat ruju kutila nana patayutam nudam eko kamya tvam asi. The ways are different, but the destination is the same. Some may reach earlier, some may reach late, some may reach quickly, some paths are very comfortable, some are not. All these differences there. But they go to the destination and that destination is same. So, creating religions and quarreling is not what is desired. Creating religions, see the destination, realizing that it is one, have coordination, cooperation. That is a must for humanity to survive. There is no choice. Within communities and within religions, there must come the harmony. Otherwise, these things will destroy ourselves. So we have to put our own example and make world follow. There is no choice. Okay. Second.
Have the second question by Professor Ashok Alur. He says, how do Bharat re-emerge as a nation of religions, spiritual inspiration for the whole world, Vishwaguru? How do you Bharat re-emerge
I think
as a
that has
nation
been
of
already answered in my speech. So, just remember my speech once again, if you want my answer. Otherwise, it is all there in books, in Swamiji, they tell you.
Honnegowda, he has asked two questions, I'll just choose one. Would you not think a man has become slave to power, property and position in the scientific age?
Of? Slave of?
Slave of power, property and position.
It is everyone's choice. No one can make you slave or no one can liberate you from slavery. It is your own will, what you want to become. So, I have to give this education to every individual, especially the young generation. Why they have come as human beings. Animals and human beings biologically are the same. Ahara, nidra, bhayam, etunamcha. That is the life. All animals. They don't know why they have taken birth. They don't know how to die. They don't commit suicide. They have to live till they die. And said they have to live happily. So, ahara, nidra, bhayam, etu. It is same with man, but there is one difference. Dharmo hi tesham adhiko vishesha. Ahara, nidra, bhayam, etunancha samanya metat pashubhir naranam. Dharmo hi tesham adhiko vishesha. This dharma is not religion. Again, it is purely and exclusively Bharatiya concept. Dharanat dharma ityahu. Dharmo dharayate praja. Dharma is that which brings samutkarsha, material progress, and nishreyas, spiritual progress. Dharma is in the beginning, in the middle, in the end, always blissful. There is no grief in dharma. So this dharma, which takes together everything, prospers everything simultaneously, holds everything together, that dharma is manushya. There is what is difference between man and animal? So if you are a human being and you have the ego that I am the supreme being of this creation, then you have to behave in a supreme way. Animals are responsible for themselves. Human beings are responsible for the universe because they say that we are the superior beings of earth. it implies that they have the responsibility of whole world. So with that sense of responsibility, we have to conduct our own life. If that is there, nobody can compel ourselves to slavery of anything. Nobody can compel ourselves towards sin because we have that vivek. I am not going to go that way. This is not my way. So that realization, that samskara has to be given. Then only man can be free of everything.
From Nagaraj, he says, how do we teach our young Indians about Hindustan and Hindutva? Because they try to follow and move towards Western culture and habits.
Don't worry about them, worry about yourselves. We have to be Hindu, we have to practice Hindutva. We have to realize that Karma Kanda is a different thing, that is different for everybody. All the sects, all the sampradayas of Hindus, they have something in common. And that is, first thing, they start with the concept that everything is one. And they culminate into behavior which has been told similarly to everything. The behavior that is prescribed is the same. So we call Dashakam Dharma Lakshana. They are the same. Be it क्या वो है ना वैदिक शैव वैष्णव everywhere darshan is different but starting point is the same and the end point is the behavior acharan acharat prabhavo dharma that acharan is the same dashakam dharma lakshanam yama niyam all these things they prescribe the same thing. So we can select our karma, we can select our religion, our pantha, our sampradaya, our language, everything. But by that behavior, we have to be same. That behavior is important. That is essence of dharma. So, tamo dhamma kya hai? Ahimsa satya asteyo. In Gita, the Daivi Guna Sampada is given. All those things, we have to live them in our behavior. That is real tapasya, that is real. So every Hindu can do this. He can have his own sampradaya, he can have his own karma kanda, he can do that, practice that. But through that he have to achieve this behavior. Then automatically everybody who is led astray will return one day because that path is not going to lead them anywhere. They have to come back sometime. When they come back, they have to find repository of this principle is living in those Hindus who are practicing it. That we have to do. Then everything will be all right.
Mahadev Kumar, this is about, in our Hindu society, marriage has become a big problem. In the Hindu society, marriage has become a big problem because many of the youngsters are not getting married. Tomorrow, the number of Hindus might actually come down. What actually RSS has got to do with this? Or what solution the RSS can provide?
Again, young generation says that why should I marry? Why should I become a slave of another individual for life or for 7 lives as we say? I don't want to. Very reasonable. But this is not about serving each other. This is not, the marriage is not a way to satisfy each other's desires. It is an instrument of creating a society. The family, vivaha, leads to a kutumba. Kutumba is the basis of society. The basic unit. Economically, culturally, politically, in every aspect of life, it all starts in a family. And better the family, better the society. And better the society, happier the individual. Alone, nobody can become happy. You have to become happy together. No individual can be happy alone. He has to make his family happy. No family can be happy alone. All the village should be happy. No village can be happy unless the district becomes happy. All this goes expanding, and therefore, when we pray for happiness, we say, Kale varshatu parjanyaha. Let rains be regular. Prithivim sasyashalini. Desho ayam kshovarahito. Brahmana is not caste. Vidwan log. Brahmana santu nirbhaya. Aputra putrina santu putrina santu. Biodiversity should go on. Adhana sadhana santu. Material prosperity for everybody. Sarve santu niramaya. And healthy mind and intellect. We pray, we define happiness like that. It is not happiness for individual. It is happiness for everybody. Because unless that happens, nobody can be happy. So, to marry is to take a responsibility of everybody's happiness. And unless we take that responsibility, we cannot be happy. That you have to teach the young generation, not by words only, by your example also. In our families, there is no example before the young generation. They find women slaving their husbands. That we have to change. It is a partnership, it is not slavery. Equally responsible team, they create individuals, they are responsible social citizens. This responsibility, young generation is led astray, there will be happiness, there you will get everything, and you will have no responsibility. That cannot happen. That is going to backlash. This you have to teach. If you teach that, then all else follows. And all dangers are averted. But this teaching should not be only by logical arguments. We have to show them exemplary behavior. The very genial and genuine environment created in the family because of that behavior. You have to give them experience, then only they will realize. So start doing that today from our own family.
This is from Sri Madhusudan, former MLC, a highly relevant question, I believe. How to prevent caste vote banks misused by political parties to divide society for their political benefits?
Because society remembers caste, politicians take advantage. It is their legitimate endeavor, no? Getting votes. So they cannot get votes by working, but they can get votes by caste. So society has to forget caste. Then politics will correct itself always. So don't blame politicians. Try to make society forget this caste. Now again, if you tell them to forget the caste, they will remember to forget the caste. So without trying to eradicate caste, you just behave like there is no caste. So roti, beti, everything should happen. That is why, how to do it? I said, support all proactive measures, not only those given by law and constitution. Even individuals who marry intercaste. The first intercaste marriage in Maharashtra happened in 1942. It received 2 well-wishers messages. More than that, but 2 prominent. One was Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar, another was Mr. M.S. Golwalkar, Shri Guruji, the then Sarsanga Chalak of Rashtriya Swayansemak. And in his letter, Guruji wrote that I was very delighted to hear that you are marrying intercaste, not for the purpose of your fulfillment of your desires, but to set an example before the society that there is no caste. So that should be our attitude. If we forget caste, caste will stop working in politics and politicians will forget caste. So don't give medicine there. Give medicine your own. By our example, we should do like. Then everything will be correct. Not. Huh? How many time do you have? If time is up, hey, I think 15 minutes, you say. Time you know, 1 hour to question. Okay.
There are plenty of questions. We'll not be able to take all of these questions because of dearth of time. I'll select last one or two questions. This is from a Swamiji, Sri Channabasava Deshikendra Swamiji of Kannada Mutt. Here's the relevant question. It is known fact that religious mutts and temples in Karnataka are providing various services to the society. Request to state their stance on the constitutional protection and constitutional nourishment for these institutions. The mutts are serving the society, but the state governments actually are not responding and providing any protection.
Yes, that is the problem in some states at least. A very real problem. But my experience is, if we focus on society, they will take care of the problem. Because state governments now, well, I am not a man of politics. Why do they do this? I don't know. But to correct this, a public pressure is required. And therefore, if mutts are popular, nobody can harm the mutts. So, once the 7 hills were of Tirupati, so the state government conspired to give some hills away to another foreign denominations. But Tirupati is a matter of Shraddha of so many. So they rose together in agitation and the decision had to be cancelled. In democracy, the society makes everything. So if we concentrate on the social change, everything else will follow. So our mutts are doing very good work everywhere. I think it is the best in the world. Formerly missionaries were cited as example, but better example is our mutts. They should continue to do that. Institutions like Sangha will also continue to prepare the society, and a day will come when our mutts, etc., will be free of all outside trouble and do their good work in the society.
This is the last question. I have clubbed actually two persons' questions into one. This is a slightly political one. In the last 13 years, you have supported central government running. Why the bill of population control has not actually come into existence?
Why?
Population control bill, an act. It has not come into force. Firstly. Secondly, common civil code. Isn't it an urgent one?
Is it?
It is an urgent actually need of the nation. Why it has not actually come into existence?
So, at the outset, I must explain, I am not the central government or even a state government. I am not a government. I am RSS, which works in the society. So, first thing was what? क्या नहीं हुआ? वो तो population control.
Population control and civil council.
Yes. Again, there was a government which tried to control a population. But immediately it was utterly defeated. Do you remember? You may remember less because it happened in Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, etc., the north of Narmada, in emergency. So they were big drivers of the population control, family planning. That operation was going on, people were caught and dragged. All this happened. So government are afraid if they try to control directly. Maybe, I don't know, this may be the cause. All these things, any law, leave population control. There is red light on the square, traffic. Light is there, but if people don't obey, what happens? Actually, people have to be educated. Policy must be there, but policy can be enforced only if people cooperate. So, we don't rely on government for anything. We go to people directly. And in people, population control is one stream. Another stream is demographic imbalance. So, we recommend that government should think of next 100 years. Today we are nation of young fellows. All those young fellows are going to be old fellows after 30 years. We have to feed them at that time. How many hands will be required? All these factors, projections should be taken into consideration. Condition of our women folk, their education, their empowerment, their health, all these concerns should be taken into consideration, and a policy should be prescribed that, say, this policy, our present policy is 2.1. Point 1 is not, point 1 is 3. And then educate the public about that policy. And then make it work everywhere without discrimination. There will be no reason for exception. Once that policy is decided, public is taken in confidence and educated, whatever is decided must be followed without exception. No premise may exempt anybody from that policy. And start where ज़्यादा गड़बड़ है वहाँ पहले start करो. ऐसा हमारा recommendation है. But people have to think like that. There are so many things that are in public thought now. This is not the uppermost thing, population control. The demographic imbalance is uppermost. So, government has to follow public sentiment. That is the thing. And secondly, you said common civil code. Okay. The Uttarakhand has brought common civil code. 2-3 states, they have brought that law. So state-wise it is coming. Maybe it may come all India sometime. Be patient. Everything happens in democracy, but it happens very slowly. There is not one person who decides. There are 142 crores who decide. So things ensue slowly. Don't worry about that. But keep working. Whatever you want, keep working about it. One day it will reappear. Thank you.